welcome to Home Built Workshop. Welcome to Wednesday Live. Yes, we are a little bit earlier today, but thank you for joining. I know sometimes changing the schedule kind of throws people off, and it wasn't my first choice, but I've got something I got to get to today, and it was either cancel the live or make it a little bit earlier, and I really didn't want to cancel because I wanted to hang out with you guys today, so here we are, a little bit earlier. We're going to wrap up a little bit earlier as well, but we're here to hang out. Talk about shop and guitars and instruments and building things and whatever it is we end up talking about. Spike's here. Spike says, hey dude, we may be here a while. It says PM. Uh-oh, did I screw up the schedule? You know why? You know why? Coffee. I was trying to hurry, and my apologies if I screwed that up. Whoops. These things happen from time to time. That was totally unintentional. I probably can't fix it now. So I guess we're just gonna have to hang out. Anyway, Spike, your guitar is looking great. I can't wait to see what it sounds like. Spike says, there you are. Spike has a Coke and sat down to chill with you. Right on. Well, thank you. I got some coffee. Still, it's like super hot because I made it a little bit earlier. So, Neptune's is here. Neptune says, hey, Jeff, what's going on, man? Thanks for tuning in. Yes, I know we're a little bit earlier, but we're going to get to that in a moment. Major Upgrade says, what's up, man? Welcome. Good morning. We are doing well. Doing well here. Again, thank you guys for tuning in, even though I moved the schedule up a little bit. But I got a good reason, I think. So I'm working on, if you've been following along, working on the braces for my acoustic guitar. And I'm about to the point where I need to start radiusing the braces so it matches the radius of the top. And in order to do that, I need some radius dishes. You guys, if you guys are familiar, radius dish is a big, typically a 24-inch dished piece of wood, and you use that to sand the contours on the braces and also on the top as well as the back of an acoustic guitar. And you can buy these, but a friend of mine recently got a CNC machine, and he offered to cut those radius dishes for me, and it was right about the time I'm meeting him is right about when we would normally end. And of course, I didn't want to go back and forth with him and try to change the schedule, so I thought, you know what, we'll just make it work. So as soon as we're done here, I'm going to go down to his place, and we're going to fire up the CNC and hopefully cut some radius dishes out of MDF. I've got it all designed. I designed it myself in Fusion 360, and we're going to fire up his CNC machine and cut those out. So it's going to be pretty awesome, and honestly, I feel like this is going to be the arm twist that I need to try to make a CNC machine happen here in the shop. So that is the reason that I had to change the schedule a little bit. Again, because I didn't want to cancel with you guys. I enjoy these hangouts. So that is the reason that we changed. But anyway, I don't know if I can show you. Let me try to show you these braces. Here, I can't pick them all up very well, but I'm going to move the camera down. Oh, it's like all washed out. You can't really see it. Come on, will it adjust? It won't adjust. I can't get it to adjust. Well, anyway, I got a whole bunch of little pieces here. Pretty much everything is cut to rough dimensions. These are all specific dimensions. I'm just following the plan that I'm using for the acoustic. They're all quarter sawn at different thicknesses, different heights. So it was a little bit tedious, kind of tedious, when I was getting these together, because they're different sizes and thicknesses, but you always have to keep the grain direction quarter sawn. So I'm going to be doing a video on the bracing, but I'm not covering necessarily making these pieces because it's really just following the plans. And but yeah, now I'm at the point where I need to put the radius on these on these pieces, but without that radius dish or something like it, it's going to be hard to do. I probably will 3D print a couple little gadgets for shaping some of these, but I can't quite print one big enough to radius these larger pieces. So we're just going to take the time and make some actual radius dishes. Let's see here. Spike says, thanks, I'm doing a live stream. Final assembly on the base tomorrow at 4. I will make a mental note. Already key that into the memory. Neptune says, not a problem. Right on, dude. Neptune, sweet. Luis says, hey guys, what's going on? Good morning. Major Upgrade says, never heard of a radius dish, but I don't know much about acoustics. Yeah, radius dish is, it's basically a giant sanding block. There you go. Typically, they're about 24-inch diameter circle, and it's dished out at different radiuses. You can use different sizes depending on what you want. I think I'm going to go with a 15-foot radius. I can't remember if that's for the top or the back, but I think I'm going to do a 15-foot and like a 25 or a 28-foot for the opposite side. I forget which one is which. I think the top is 28 and the back's 15. I don't know. I might have that wrong, but but we're gonna be cutting 2 different ones. My model is fully adjustable. I can just punch in the number that I need, and it'll adjust the dish. And but it's pretty common in acoustic building. I don't have any yet because, well, you guys know this is the first acoustic that I've done, and that's just one of the things needed to build an acoustic. I guess you don't need. I shouldn't say need, because you can do it without. There are ways, but I think this is probably one of the easier ways. At least in my head, I don't know, but we're gonna make some anyway. Major Upgrade says, which CNCs are you considering? Right now, if I was gonna buy one right this instant, I would probably buy the Onefinity machine. I have a couple friends that have them, and that's actually what I'm gonna use this morning when we cut the radius dishes. It's a Onefinity. From what I've seen, for the price, they seem like they're a really well-built machine, and I feel like it would work really well. Yes, I would love to have, you know, an Avid CNC machine, you know, but those things are super expensive, and I just can't justify that at the moment. As much as I want one, the Infinity is a little more reasonable. Actually, it's a lot more reasonable, really. And from what I've seen, it'll do everything that I need it to do, and the build quality looks great. But that's what I'm considering. Spike says, I built an MP CNC and used it a while, but burned up the shop last year and lost it and a lot more. Yeah, I remember you talking about that. That stinks every time I think about it, dude. Ray's here, Crafted by Ray, says hi. Good morning, Ray. I'm going to scoot this camera back over so I don't have to lean over to see you guys. Spike says, fine dust got in the powder coating oven controls, according to the insurance investigator. Ooh, man, that's too bad. Paul says, greetings. Sorry, thought it was on Facebook this week. I don't believe so. That was last week. I did double check the schedule yesterday. I had to shift the time a little bit, so sorry if that caused any confusions. Spike says, hey, Paul. Paul says, will the CNC fit in your shop? Reason for expanding? In the current configuration, no. There is just, even the one that I've been looking at, that Onefinity that I was just talking of, the footprint is about a 4x4 footprint. You can't really see it at the moment, but I have got a shelving unit over here that happens to take up about a 4x4 space. Maybe you can see where I'm going with this. It really, the little shelving thing, it just stores some, household junk, really. So I'm thinking there's something there. There's got to be something there. And if I tear that down and kind of redo it, I think I can clear up at least enough shelf space so that I can put the CNC in there. I don't know. Part of me thinks that I'm trying to justify it in my head, and I probably am. But that's the only option I have at the moment. But yes, it would be an excellent reason for expanding, for sure. It's something that I really want to try to work in here. Let's see. Oh, Paul says, hey, Spike. Brian's here. Brian says, here on break. Howdy from Minnesota. Welcome, Brian. From Colorado to you in Minnesota. I hope things are going well. Hope you guys are... actually, you know what? I hope you all are having good weather because, man, did you guys... I don't know if you saw my post a couple days ago. We got slammed with a pile of snow this weekend, and that was fairly ridiculous. We had a week or two of really nice spring, almost summer weather. And then, yeah, last Friday, I think it was, snow. We got over a foot, I'm sure. It's all melted now, but still, come on. We're almost into June. Harry Dude's here. What's up? What's up, man? Glad you made it with the adjusted time. And it's only for today. We're going to go back to the regular schedule next week. But just for today, had to shift the time a little bit. Hang on. I need more coffee. Major Upgrade says, what is the cheapest and best way to get educated on CNC, and which software should I study so that when I can afford one, I will be ready, starting from scratch? That is a great question. And that was one that I kind of was, I felt like that was the spot I was in a little over a year ago, well, a year and a half almost ago, when I got my 3D printer. Because you kind of use the same design principles with a 3D printer, just a different output. Instead of sending it to a 3D printer, you'd send it to a CNC. The software that I personally chose, and I'm not saying this is what you have to use. There's tons of different softwares on the market. They each, I'm sure, have their pros and cons, and their own set of learning, their own learning curve to it. But what I started using what I chose to get into was Fusion 360, mainly because I've seen a lot of tutorials and a lot of things already on that, and it looked like something that I could tackle. And so I jumped into Fusion, and I started doing a lot of tutorials and just some basic setup things. And you can download Fusion for free, so you don't have to buy it at the moment, at this exact date. Who knows in the future if that's going to stay that way. But, excuse me. So that is what I decided to jump in and start learning. What really helped me out a lot, and you could totally go in there and just look up stuff and go through tutorials and things, different videos online. There's hundreds of, probably thousands and thousands of videos on Fusion 360. But what really helped me, and kind of a plug, but not sponsored or anything, but I went through the I Like to Make Stuff Fusion 360 course, and that really set enough of the basics in, it got me started enough, got me understanding everything in a kind of a very directed way, rather than just trying to find the information that I thought I needed. I found it really helpful that I purchased their course, and I went through that, and it set a really good foundation to get started. I felt really comfortable at that moment to go in and start things on my own. And I would recommend their course. Again, it's not sponsored or anything. I totally bought it myself and went through it, but it really was a good starting point for me. Now, I'm not saying you have to take a course, but I felt like I needed some sort of foundation to get started on things. But no matter what software you choose, you got to kind of figure out, where to start from, and that's where a lot of videos, tutorials, walkthroughs, that sort of thing is really going to help. There's tons of forums that I found for Fusion. Now, Fusion is, if you're not familiar, Fusion is part of Autodesk. The makers of AutoCAD and all that stuff, which has been, an industry standards for, drafting and design for, I don't know, decades probably. So I feel very comfortable that they know what they're doing, and it's just a name that, that I'm familiar with, and I just felt really good going that route. So, major upgrade, I hope that was at least a tiny bit helpful. That's the route that I went. The other thing that I like about Fusion, and well, honestly, they're all the same way. Once you design a part, you can export it as different file types and send it to, CNC machines. You can send it to 3D printers and, all that kind of stuff. The cool thing, and I don't have experience with any of the other programs, but I do want to throw this in there. One thing that's awesome about Fusion, probably the others, is you can design it in one portion of the software, and then if you want to send it to a 3D printer, you can export it as your STL file, but also you can then send it from the design page on Fusion. You can send it over to the cam the cam side, to where you can create the file that's going to go right to your CNC machine. You don't necessarily have to have another piece of software to convert it into the G code and all that. You can do all of that through Fusion, and that's actually what I spent a good chunk of the weekend doing. Well, at least on Saturday, because it was snowy and kind of crummy. So I'd spent several hours just playing with some of my models in Fusion, practicing creating that file for the CNC machine. And once you get it down, it's not that hard, really. You create a simulation and you can see how everything's going to work. It's really pretty cool. It's kind of an all-in-one software. Now again, the other ones may do the same thing, but I'm not 100% sure. Let's see here. Spike says to Paul, I found I could design for mine, and it worked, but it didn't give me the leisure. My Shopsmith overhead router and bandsaw. I'm at my happy place as a garage builder. Hey, you know what? And that's the thing. Some people prefer to do it by hand, and some people would like to be able to do it a little differently. And really, I don't. Whatever works for you, I am totally cool with it. Spike says, I like Fusion. Right on. I think it's pretty cool. Paul says, yeah, I just prefer the control I have by working with hand. You know what, Paul? That's 100% valid. There is obviously there's a difference, right? But yeah, I totally get what you're saying, and I have absolutely nothing against doing any of this stuff by hand at all. In fact, I think that before you even jump to a CNC, I think you've got to know how to do it by hand. If you can't do it by hand, how do you know if the CNC's doing what you want it to do? But I've mentioned before, I would like to be able to build more instruments while still being able to do other things. A build takes a bit of time. You guys know that. But I would like to be able to cut that time down so that I can still continue to do the wide variety of other things that I enjoy doing, but I want to build more instruments too. So at some point there's a wash. If all I wanted to do was build guitars, not a problem, right? That would be all I was doing. But I like to do so many other things that if I'm trying to build more instruments, it's going to take that time away. So for me, I feel like trying a CNC is going to allow me to be able to still do, leather projects and metal projects and other projects while still being able to do more guitars. At least that's my 2 cents on that. Let's see. Major Upgrade says, thank you. Are there good tutorials on YouTube for it? Yes, there are tons and tons of videos online. for Fusion 360. In fact, every time I'm designing something, I think, almost every time anyway, I'm at least looking something up, trying to learn how to work with some certain tool on there. And almost every time you'll find a whole list of videos on working with whatever one specific thing you're trying to figure out. Harry Dude says, "Hey Neptunes, doing okay. Getting colder, but doing okay. How's life treating you?" Yes, Harry Dude, welcome to winter. Apparently, you and I were both in winter this past weekend. Spike says, "Go look up Lars for Fusion." Yes, Lars Christensen, a great resource. I don't know. I want to say he might work for Autodesk or Fusion or something like that, but he's a wealth of knowledge, and there are a ton of videos out there that are very helpful that he has. Neptune says, "I'm doing good." Major Upgrade says, "Yeah, I want one that's free and lots of people already use it. Fusion is one. I just I keep going back to that, but that's what I use. But if you find another one that works better for you, by all means, use what works for you. But I know it has worked well for me so far. I still have a lot to learn, but it's working out well." Neptune says, "I have to agree with Jeff on Fusion. Although I use Libre Designs, there's much more support online and YouTube." Right on. Major Upgrade says, "Thank you. This was very helpful." Right on. You are welcome, my friend. Spike says, "I use Fusion with my 3D printer and not the CNC anymore." Paul says, "I definitely do not fall into the CNC workers are not real woodworkers argument. I use the tools to create. That's how I am." I'm with you, Paul. I do not fall into that either. We use templates and stuff, right, to guide our routers. And kind of my thought is, what's the difference? You're using a template to guide your router. We're not, for the most part, most of us, I want to be very careful because I know not everybody does, right? Some people will cut it by hand, but most of us will use a template of some sort. Even if it's a design you've created, you've still created the templates, and that's just guiding the router. Really, I'm not trying to dumb it down or anything, but that's what it's doing. The CNC machine is doing the same thing. We've talked about it before. You don't just turn it on and hit the button and there comes your thing. You still have to design it. Yes, you're not maybe cutting the wood, but you've got, how many hours are we all spending in front of the design software to get it just right? So I'm with you on that. Spike says, "Not building with any hand planes or anything." Yeah. Yeah, good luck. Neptune says, "I think most other software don't do the cam without paying for a cam add-on." Oh, Libre Design is that way. There's another plus for Fusion. Spike says, "The CNC at times does what it wants to sometimes. Things happen. I can show you." Well, that's good to know. Spike says, "There are guitar design videos on YouTube and even a guitar engine add-on for Fusion. Great resource." Yes, I've seen that. What's his name? Brad? Is it Brad? Somebody, I think. I can't remember. He's got some plugins. I haven't tried those yet. I did find, if you guys are interested in some of the guitar-related Fusion videos, check out Austin Shaner, I think it is. I've heard about him before, but I haven't come across his videos. And I came across some this weekend while I was working in Fusion, and he's got some very, very well done tutorials and walkthroughs on different things. And he relates a lot of it to guitars as well. Spike says, Paul says, to Spike. He's like, "Yeah, same with routers. I work in IT and trust technology only so far. Still prefer when I'm building for a customer to control the whole process." Yeah, those IT issues, man, those things are... They got a mind of their own, literally. Major Upgrade says, "Yeah, I think everything can be useful. Hand and CNC. My idea is that the CNC will yield more consistent guitars. not opposed to by hand at all, but CNC would be another tool in the toolbox. Yes, you hit the nail on the head. That's exactly the way I feel. It's another tool, right, to create something that we want to create. And the way I see it, I could care less how you create something, but the end result is the thing. And just creating something, doing something with these hands. Maybe it's not routing out a guitar body. Maybe it's programming a CNC. But you still have a ton of other things to do as long as these things are involved. That's my thing. I just like to do things with my hands. I don't care what it is. Chiller Tech, Texas. CNCs make things hands off while doing other things. Great. Yes. Yes. It's totally what I'm thinking. Yes, like I said a minute ago, I want to build more instruments, but I don't want it to take away the time that I enjoy doing other things, leather projects, and other, who knows what other things. Bird feeders with my daughter. I'd rather do that one, have the CNC working, going in for dinner or whatever while the CNC's cutting out a guitar body. I don't know. Yep, it's just another thing. Spike says, the last 10% is what matters in all builds. The other part is just getting there. Yes, man, you guys are nailing it. You guys are full of great points today. Man, maybe it's because we're a little earlier today. You guys are making awesome points. Yeah, you're just getting there. How did you get there? I don't care. If you go on vacation, does it matter really which route you take if you're driving somewhere? If you're trying to get to, I don't know, wherever you're going, as long as you get there, for the most part. Major Upgrade says, I saw your video on the neck jig you made. We were very much the CNC in that respect. That was an awesome video. Hey, thank you. Yeah, what the difference? What's the difference with that? It's guiding the thing, or the routers. The CNC is guiding the router. Spike says, go watch the Gibson Custom Shop, about 2 months old, CNC everywhere. Custom is, you pick colors, and inlays look like to me. Yeah, I'm not surprised. That the big names, that's, they're not, for the most part, I imagine, they're probably not doing it by hand. I've seen some where they're using templates, but I think those may have been older videos, but I know I've seen some PRS factory tour videos, and it's a CNC machine. Dane's here. Dane says, morning, man. Hope you're having a stellar day currently. Right on. Good morning, Dane. Thanks for joining in. Yes, the day is so far stellar, and I'm still drinking on some coffee here, but we are doing awesome. I hope your day is going great too. Paul says, another reason I don't have a CNC, I run my home shop, or my home/shop, totally off solar. So I don't want to leave something running in the shop when I'm not there in case I switch to battery mode on the system. Man, that is awesome. I would love to be able to do something like that, run off solar. And I totally get it. You've got a somewhat, I imagine, a somewhat limited amount of power. And yeah, that would be a drag for something like that, get left on and it drains your battery and now your fridge doesn't work, or I don't know. Yeah, I totally get it, man. Yep, and there's a valid reason for just about everything, I think. Spike says, downplayed the use of them, but all CNC till sanding and hand sanding. Yeah, they're thrown in a piece of wood and they're just pressing the button and out comes a guitar. Or so some say. I don't know, but I'm excited though, guys. Just to be able to go down and like I mentioned, cut a part that I designed myself in Fusion 360 is going to be cut out in an hour or so on a buddy's CNC machine, and I just think that's so cool. Kind of like the first time I designed something in Fusion and successfully got it to print on the 3D printer, and you're holding the piece there, and you look at the computer screen and there's your model, and now you've made it. It's kind of awesome, I think. Yeah, so I'm kind of excited. I'm gonna post. I'm gonna post at least a process shot or something like that. You know, of the CNC running my radius dishes, so you guys can see it. So make sure you stay tuned. But I am really excited, even though it's not my machine and I don't have open access to it. But just to be able to take the part that I designed and we're gonna make it. It's gonna be kind of cool. Let's see. Spike says one design makes a lot of them in their business plan. Yeah, they make so many, and that's what I would like to do. I'd like to be able, like I said, I've said it a dozen times, but I want to build more. But I just don't want it to take away from all my other time. So I think this is possibly the next logical step, at least in my brain. Let's see. Major Upgrade says subbed to Spikes. Oh, right on. Dane says, I'd kill to have access to a CNC. I know, man. And now that a buddy of mine has one, and I'm not trying to take advantage of his machine or anything, but he offered to cut these things. So I'm gonna take him up on the offer. Plus, I want to see the machine in action because it is the one that I would probably buy right now. But yeah, just to have to know somebody that has it if you ever ran into a situation where you needed it. In a lot of places, I don't know about your area or anything, but you might have a. I think our local library has a small machine. Yeah, they have a small maker space there with a laser and some 3D printers, and I think they have a small CNC. Maybe there's a place around there. Maybe you have some sort of a woodworkers group. That somebody might have one. You might ask around. You probably know somebody that, or there's probably somebody in your area, I should say, that has one that might, if you can maybe pay them for their time or give them, I don't know, wood or whatever. But there's probably somebody local that that would be able to help you out. I could be wrong, but you never know. I know there's a few people around my area that have them. I just don't know them personally until now. Paul says, yeah, I have to plan my shop time, weekends after work before it gets dark, so I can only mass produce what I can make by hand. Love the system, no power bill for over 3 years. Yeah, that would be great. If I didn't have to pay that electric bill every month, whew. Spike says, thanks, Major Upgrade. I'm trying for 500 this month. Need about 25 more. Right on. Everybody go subscribe to Spike if you're not already. Paul says, I still can make 3 full guitars per month and 10 bodies per week, so it works. Right on, man. You got it down. Yeah, see? And that's a good amount of instruments right there. Major Upgrade says, rad. Major Upgrade says, Paul, I'll sub to you as well. Right on, yeah. Paul has some awesome builds over there too. Dane says, I wouldn't anticipate you trying to take advantage of your situation, but still to have access is a stellar thing. And that's how I feel. The fact that my friend offered to do this for me is I'm like so appreciative. I've even dug out some bits. I'm gonna take some bits down there. Just in case I don't want to ruin his bits. And I found a cool piece of wood I'm going to take down there to him too and see if he wants it. And yeah. Plus, he's going to have a file for radius dishes if he wants to make some. Paul says, nothing on my page to sub to. Paul, you need to get some up there. Let's see. Major Upgrade says, I was going to ask. Dane says, I'm in Ashland, Oregon. If anyone knows of anyone here with one. So Dane, maybe if you, I don't know if you use Facebook or not. I don't like to assume that anybody does, really, because some people don't. You might jump on there, though, and see if there is, let's see, Ashland. So maybe you could do Ashland, Oregon, woodworkers group or something like, do some sort of a search. There's probably something, or just post it up over there and, hey, anybody know anybody with a CNC? I'm trying to connect, or something like that. Maybe Craigslist. You might find people offering CNC type services. That might be another way you could connect with somebody locally. Robert's here. Robert says, hello, people. Hello, Robert. How are you today? Spike says, I'm buffing out the bass today. I watched your video about it. Right on. Yeah, I can't wait to see that one done. The one piece. Ooh, speaking of bass, part of this weekend I mentioned that I would spend some time in front of the computer, working in Fusion. I did design the Haley Guitars bass guitar in Fusion. It's, well, the body shape. And because originally I was going to try to cut that out on the CNC, but then I got to the step where I needed these radius dishes, so I'm going to do that instead. But I got the shape pretty. Actually, I think it's finalized. But yeah, I'm kind of excited. I've been wanting my own bass designed for a little while, and I think I've finally got it. So stay tuned on that. I don't have plans in the next month or so to start on it, but it is something that I'm working on. Paul says, I'm only on Facebook and Instagram. Waldrop Guitars. Major Upgrade says, oof, I ditched Facebook. Yeah, that's what I mean. A lot of people have. I use it still, for different contact reasons, but Paul says, trying to figure out how to do a video for the GGBO guitar. Do you have... What can we help with? What parts got you stuck? Is it the filming, the editing, or what? Maybe we can offer up some tips and help you along, because I want you to get that up there. Rogue says, hey, sorry I'm late. Good to see you. Right on, Rogue. Don't worry about being late, because I started earlier today, because I got a hard deadline that I got to get out of here today. But I'm glad you made it. Neptune says, creations. Oh, boy. Uh-oh. You like my ringtone? Sorry, I forgot to turn that off. Sorry about that. I lost my spot. Sorry about that. Oh, Neptunes. Creations. Wait. Oh, yeah, I got you. Okay. Would like a small benchtop metal cutting CNC mill. I have a manual mill and lathe, but a CNC would be a luxury. Ooh, yes, that would be awesome. A manual mill. I'd love to have a Bridgeport. When I worked the corporate world, I had access. I was in maintenance a lot of my time there, equipment maintenance and that sort of thing. And we had a whole maintenance shop. We had a metal lathe, a big one, in a Bridgeport. Man, I used to love making stuff on that. Sometimes I'd get to stay after once in a while and do some sort of milling on the machine, for a part or something. It was awesome. The thing about, well, probably quite a lot of CNCs, you can do soft metals like aluminum. I could throw aluminum on there, and probably with the right bit and of course feeds and speeds, you could machine aluminum, which that sounds pretty cool too. Rogue says, gonna pick my son up from preschool. Just wanted to say hi. I'll be listening. Right on. Speaking of school, tomorrow is a lot of the area school's last day. And I can't believe that my daughter's going to be done with school tomorrow. Tomorrow's her last day. And we're going to be on summer vacation, basically. And, man, that's... wow. Robert says, hey, hi, Spike. I just saw this stream on the side and clicked it. Doing okay. Right on. Spike says, doing bass final assembly live stream tomorrow at 4. Awesome. Robert says, I'll try to remember and watch. Yeah. Harry Dude, you got it. Night Rider ringtone. Awesome. Yep, that's it. We recently got a new phone. I upgraded my old, oh, well, I don't know what it was, Galaxy S7. It was like 7 or 8 years old. I don't remember exactly, but and trying to get it all set up, I'm like, I need something cool for the ringtone. Yeah, and I came across that one. I had it on the computer for something, and I'm like, that would make an awesome ringtone. And actually, it's pretty cool. Paul says yes, all the above. Son says he will do it. So right now, I'm taking lots of pics to put in it. We'll film the short construction bits and demo. Only doing one video at the end. Don't have time to do all the filming, editing stuff. Right on. And that's what I'm doing with mine. I've got the build pretty much done up to the final assembly. The problem that I've been running into, and I've mentioned this a time or two before, I am a left-handed guitar player. Most of my guitars I build are right-handed instruments, just due to there's more righty players than lefties, unfortunately. But I can't demo an instrument very well upside down. And surely I can't do it good enough to do it on video. So I trying to have different friends of mine or different people in my area do the demo, and I've been having a hard time connecting with people. You guys have seen my buddy Jesse do a lot of the demos, and I think he's going to do this next one. But, you know, everybody's got their own schedule and things like that. I can't just say, okay, it's done, here, do it. You know, you got to kind of work it in with when they're available to do it, because really they're doing me a favor by taking time to sit down and demo it. So I've had a hard time connecting with someone who is available to sit down and demo a guitar. My plan was this weekend to have the build out there for the GGBO. But I've been over a week trying to nail something down with somebody, and I haven't been able to do that yet. I've got people that want to do that will do it, but they're like, you know, my schedule, I'm a couple weeks out or whatever. So at the moment, I don't have a video for this weekend. Now that may change, but right now, maybe we could do something around the CNC. I don't know. At the moment, I'm kind of stumped because I was planning for this GGBO build. But again, just trying to get that demo portion down, because that's an important part. You got to get a sound demo. So yeah, Paul, just, you know, you put pictures in there, do some video clips. It's going to be fine. You got this, man. Major Upgrade says, reading a good book, The Birth of Loud by Ian Port, about the beginnings of the rivalry between Fender and Les Pauls. Lots of history about those guys and their iconic creations. Get it? That sounds good. I might have to look into that. That sounds pretty cool. Dane says, I just wanted to let you know I appreciate the content you put out. Teach a man to fish, right? You're always so upbeat and happy to share your knowledge and experiences, and it makes a huge difference. Well, thank you, Dane. I really do appreciate that. I appreciate that a lot. I do try. You know, I know there's a ton of channels out there that do the kind of stuff that I do. You know, so everybody has their different approach. But yes, I like to. A lot of times, what you guys are seeing in the video, I'm learning something for the first time as well, especially on this acoustic stuff. You know, but I don't. I try really hard to put that learning across there, that, you know, I'm not the pro building acoustics. We're learning this together. And I think that's how we all, you know, I think that's how we all learn. You know, don't be afraid to get out there and just try something. Oh, that's what I'm trying to say. Don't be afraid to get out there and try something you've never done before. I'm doing that a lot of times on camera to share it with you guys, because we're all capable of so much more than we think, and I truly believe that. But a lot of us are hesitant to start because we don't know how to do it, right? But what's stopping us? Just get out there and do it, and that's what I want to try to encourage everyone to do. Don't be afraid of trying something you've never done. I do it all the time on camera. But yeah, that's how we learn. That's what I was trying to say. Robert says time flies. I know. Spike says, I live to churn content for my ADHD therapy, but understand the time thing. I'm retired, and time is not an issue for me. Yes, there's a time constraint. Neptunes, I have a lot of experience on a Bridgeport. Unfortunately, mine is a benchtop Grizzly. My shop floor is 3/4 ply, and it wouldn't hold the weight. You know what? A benchtop would be just, I would be completely fine with a benchtop mill. It doesn't have to be a Bridgeport. It's just, that's what comes to mind. But, you know, the old school Bridgeports. Major Upgrade says, that's right, Dean. Thank you, guys. Spike says to Major Upgrade, we'll check that out. Guitar history, a passion. Major Upgrade, you will love it. I gotta check that out too. Robert says, maybe if your daughter learns how to play guitar and have her demo the guitars, as long as she is not a lefty as well. She is not a lefty. I don't think she's gonna end up being a lefty because she's pretty right hand dominant. So yeah, I keep telling her, I got a guitar body here. We can make it for you if you want to. But I'm kind of waiting. I'm not trying to force the issue. I'm kind of waiting for the interest to grow if it does. Spike says, it may be October till I get the GGBO video done, as I don't play the bass I built at all yet. Talking to Eric Blackman, the funk guitar guru, for the demo. Nice. It doesn't matter, really. You get it done. The deadline, you know, we got lots of time. Dane says, the only person that can stop us from doing anything is ourselves. Yes. Yes. I agree 100,000 million %, even though it's not a real number. Yep. So, just do it. Don't know how to do something? Learn. It's that easy. Rogue says it's important to get out of your comfort zone. Make mistakes the only way you learn. Yep. I'm with you. Man, you guys are nailing it. You've got to, right? We can't just sit in our own little world, right? And expect to grow. And it doesn't matter what it is. You know, building things is what we're here to talk about, really, but I mean, that applies to life, right? You can't grow in life unless you are willing to put in the work to do something. It really goes a lot deeper than just, you know, building something, building an instrument or something like that. Paul says, have a great week. Meeting old friends for lunch. Take care, all. Right on, Paul. Tell the old friends hello for me and for all of us. They'll be like, who? Some weird dude on the internet. Major Upgrade. Take care, Paul. Spike later, Paul. Spike says, I'm starting another one on the thermoformer next. It will be a bit different. That's the one with the formed top that you were talking about? Sounds interesting. Yep, so we're getting close to having to wrap this up so I can go CNC something. Hopefully. But yeah, as far as this weekend goes, guys, at the moment, I'm not 100% sure if we're going to have a new video for this week or not. I may need to take a, what would we call that? Take a day off? I don't know. I don't want to, but schedule-wise. I was hoping for a GGBO video. So we'll see. We're going to keep that up in the air. Maybe we can throw something together, which I don't like doing, last-minute stuff, because then I feel like I skim over things. Robert says, I was a commercial artist for a while, then became a computer tech and learned it on the fly. Cool. I know several people that have learned, like their profession now is some sort of computer, you know, it has something to do with computers, but they've pretty much learned it all on the fly, like you said. And that's pretty awesome. Major Upgrade says GGBO. Yes, that was my plan. I was going to do the video for my build. Like I said, I'm waiting to get that demo filmed, and I can't post the video until I have the demo because I'm doing it all as one video. I'm not doing separate parts just for ease of release. Major Upgrade. Woo! Yeah. I'm excited for the build this year. I I haven't shared yet the whole build, but I will as we get closer to releasing the video. I like it. I really like it. Let's see. Rogue says, awesome. Good to see you, Jeff. See you next time. Right on, Rogue. Man, you have an awesome day. Yeah, let's see. What are we at here? We're almost 9:30. I'm going to wrap this up so I can load up the vehicle and get out of here. So, guys, thank you. I want to say thank you to all of you, as always, for taking some time out of your day, your morning, your evening, your night, whatever, and spending some time over here. And even though it was earlier, man, thank you. I love these live streams. I enjoy hanging out with you guys and talking about everything that we always talk about. Robert says, started out with Apple computers, then learned the PC. Windows side, never got around to learning Unix. I messed with it a little bit. Linux anyway, which is similar. It wasn't my thing. I'm not that tech. I'm not into it that much. Harry Dude says, catch you all next week, folks. Stay well. Dane says, no, thank you. Right on, Dane. Harry Dude, stay warm down there, buddy. Next week, guys, we will be on Facebook back at the regular time, 9 a.m. Mountain Time. Whatever it is your time, I don't know. Spike says, set a reminder. We'll do that. Right on, guys. Thanks again. And you guys get out there. Spend some time making something. I don't care what it is. Just go try something. And try something new. I don't care if you sit down at the computer and work on learning a new piece of software. It's always worth the time, the investment. So you guys have an awesome week. Major Upgrade says, thanks, man. Good community around. Glad to be a part of it. Right on. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Major Upgrade. I love our community. It's everyone's so supportive, and no one gets mad at each other for different points of view, which I really like that, because everybody's different, right? Anyway, guys, have an awesome week. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time. I'm trying to hit the button. It didn't work again. Awkward. Later, guys.